Oh, we gotta get a better spot. Let's shake it too. I am away from the motorcycle shop, so I gotta get a good spot here because I don't like to invade people's privacy and brandish other displays. Let's see here. Maybe I can give you a rack to put you on. Let's see. Maybe you can. I'm gonna be maybe over here. It's like taking an adventure. Oh, this will be a good spot right here. This will be perfect. I got it. This is perfecto. If I don't fall in the well hole behind me, it'll be perfect. I'm a pretty safe kid. I'll take my chances. I hope you could hear me that far. There we go. Yeah. This is good. There's like no roads or foot traffic or driveways, or there's like 100 goats on picnic tables next door. I don't know. I don't want to get into it. I'm not judging. They're cool. We saved one of them. I didn't, but like somebody from the ranch did. They got a little goat head stuck in there, in the fence. A little bit of a fiasco, but it was all right. The goat was fine. I hope everybody's good. I'm the angel of authenticity. I have stepped away from the motorcycle shop, and I am loitering in somebody's yard. Here to bring you a fine piece of original tunes. This is a song I've been working on. I can't quite, I don't know. I've had a hard time writing it. I write too many songs for people after they die. But I really can't channel it and write it right until they do die, I think. I don't know. This one was a little close to my home and a friend from school, Maybe that's why. I don't know. And he died under law enforcement custody. They ran him down and took him to jail, and he died. Something's funny with it. I don't want anywhere near it. It's still hard. Even if they're a friend of yours that made bad choices, you still don't want to see them get murdered, targeted. And the tyranny is just unspeakable. It's really a pet peeve of mine. God gave us a sovereignty. That was a real big, important thing. God chose to limit his free will at least 3 times that I could count big time. So now we got to count on all these ascended beings and like ministers and like the good guys in the galaxy to come in for him, because you can't always do it. I didn't see it like that until I did. That's exactly what's going on. We're inherently good, and we're masterpieces. Even if we were made like TrenchArt. Yeah, TrenchArt's some special shit. Just saying. This is what I got so far. I don't know. He was kind of a Mad Max tough guy, like a big girl that kind of growled and stuff. Like, it's kind of a pretty song for him, though. I think maybe that's part of my conflict, but I don't know. It's a nice song. I could make it harder probably with some other the things I add to it maybe, and play it different once I get the melody down, because I keep changing my mind. So. by his name, but he had a target there too. We go back to school. We were both in office, dressed to impress. He was proudly displaying a picture of an X-ray hand flipping the bird on his shirt. I had a fan telling the vacuum to suck it up, which implied blowing. Little B.S. Johnson died on Tyranny Highway, breaking his own number two. We weren't much for rules anyway, but we had our bygones and our Fridays that were true. Long arm of the law, wasting no time, taking him to jail. Said he robbed the National Bank with a pair of clippers fingernails. Long arm of the law, indeed. He was 10 miles away shooting ink. Faced at the scene of the crime still. It is time he set his sight on the open road. Now he was over 21. Nowhere else better to go. They went to a familiar place out of state. All beefed up, mad. The old people just keep getting older and more fucked up. Told him what to do all the time, you know. He was 22, he just been locked in a cage for a while, so he's kind of like, that's what I see, you know. I give people the benefit of the doubt. But when he got there, they gave him a year for every cop that took to detain him. 7 years getting in, and one old lady got him out. And did his ass in his face to him, no doubt. And the long arm of the little B.S. Johnson, the Tyranny Highway. I don't know, I'm working on the lyrics still. He just died, like, I don't know, whatever day it was. 2 weeks ago. And it's funny though, I can't write it because I usually channel it out like, bam, I got the person's song right away, and then I practice it and make it better. This one, like, you know, maybe, I don't know, I got him sitting in the ether smoking cigars like John Prine. When he got up to heaven, he was going to have a cigarette that was 9 miles long and a drink. He could be doing that up there with him, like, cheers, and I don't know. As long as he don't watch me in the shower or something creepy like that, man, that'd be the type. Yeah, I rebuke that. Some people just really cross the line with a lot of people. It's just who they are naturally. So it's no surprise when something happens and they get run down by police or gang war or something. It's like when you hear about it, it's like, oh, shocker, you know, because you always knew that was where it was headed. But it doesn't make it any easier, especially when you know that he wasn't trying to die. And he was telling him he went and hired a lawyer about it because he said they were trying to kill him, and then he ends up dead. It's just a little like, whoa, I don't want anywhere near that. Really, I still live in the same hometown, you know, a mile away from that. You know, like, don't involve me in whatever's going on here. I don't do dead and die. I do live and living. That's a fact. I'm very vocal about that. That's a very big disclaimer I give to people. I freak out when I see people sick, and it depletes me. Like, I'm not that person. I am the person that keeps you from being that person. You know, I have a respect for it if it's very old people or something like that. I'm a little different as long as they're not my old people. I mean, they're all my people now. I don't even know how I'd be around dying now. Maybe I'd have more tolerance. But not in the past. That's not my MO. I don't know. I usually take off. If I was getting old as a person, I wouldn't. But it was never quite like that. Because I'll leave you if your health is that bad. If your health is that bad where you're killing yourself, I'm not going to sit there and watch you die. You know, at all. I'm not doing that. I love people that much. Sometimes it takes losing that for them to get their act together, even if you don't get back together, you know? That's what it was your job, your catalyst. That doesn't, you shouldn't let any circumstance like that diminish things that you do for the right reasons. Don't let anybody write your dialogue like that. That is never God. It says that you're not enough. God meets you where you're at. He takes you how you are, and you are enough. As long as you're still human. Any part of you, even 1 little %, he can restore you. He can't do it from where he's at now because he broke himself apart and he's in everybody that's ever been and ever will be, and that's how come we can activate. And they know it's coming and it's going to happen. They know he's going to come and take his planet back over. That's about it. All this. He might not even have to go that far. He could save it for later because there's other people showing up, I think, to help him. That's why everybody believes in all these different things. They were gods. I mean, it says it right in the Bible. And all the gods with the little G, like Anubis, all them guys probably. All that's true for their religion, maybe. But God still created it, though. The ones that were here, if He didn't create it, then because He didn't want us to know there's anything anywhere else, we were supposed to focus on Earth and be on Earth. Not because we were the stupidest and most destructive human beings, because we would destroy ourselves and hurt ourselves in the whole grand scheme because we were babies and too mature in the spirit. That's why we went to Earth school, probably. It advances you. By the time you get done and get wise on Earth here and understand things a lot better, then you understand why you're a certain way then when you're so advanced. Because like they can't understand why we do anything. There is so incomprehensible to them. Boy, we would have a hard time manifesting anything here or having anything on what lack is truly until you come here and do it. And then there's a whole different ballpark for a fact. Because like when you're telepathic and you don't have nutritional needs, like we got to eat other animals, like that's the lowest of the low. They don't want that. They've already gotten rid of that out of the galaxy. That's what the serpent guy is consumed everybody, trying to make them all look like that because he just that's what they do is consume. They don't consume because of a reason. They just consume anyway and just use that reason as the reason why they did it if they get caught because they're more powerful than everything. Because every time they consume, they take all that power. That's pretty big when they fist everybody off. That's a lot. But God could hear things in rooms that you're not in. It's, hallelujah for that. And just like they could send demons, the people in the ethers ain't doing nothing better anyway. They'll show up for God because it just shows what kind of guy he was. Like when Willie Nelson didn't have his taxes right, they took all his shit. People from all walks of life, even like poor people, were showing up to buy his stuff. Everybody bought his shit and one thing at a time handed it back to him. They did that twice because IRS was so shitty about it. They were not happy. They were trying to get him probably for being a weeder and have an influence and didn't die on the airplane with Buddy Holly like he was supposed to. That's a hell of a guy. That the NBA players, like everybody there was nothing he lost. They weren't gonna let him lose his stuff. That's what's gonna happen. That's what's going to happen. There's going to be a huge turnaround, and it's going to be like nobody expects. And it's always for our highest good. It's the only reason we got to suffer, and anything of God's creation has to suffer and really be destroyed and exploited, like it has to the degree. God wants to make sure everybody knows, and every soul that can be saved, that is aware, that knows what the fuck's going on, and chooses that against Him, and chooses against love and clean water and the little baby children and the little kitten that's in the sewer drain. Like what do you do? You're gonna go and you're gonna go. Oh, you'll take it like fucking torment it for another hour or two and then throw it out. Are you that kind of guy? Probably. Oh, look at that innocent little kitten. You didn't get it out of there to save it, but all them people are the fucking 86, man. They're a liability. They're the new Earth because now we're able to wield and manifest quicker. But we are changing with the Earth, and we're about ready to get our powers gauged up a hair. And the ones that can't be around firearms, say because they don't know how to not touch things that aren't theirs or something. And they don't know how to just not be ignorant and stupid fucking people, they won't have no place because we're going to have literally our hands are like magic wands now. People, we're manifesting faster than ever. And if not, then you got to question where you're getting your sources from or wonder where your purpose is, because we all got it in us. I ain't nobody special and neither is the next guy. I don't care who they are. It could be like Hugh Humphrey or something. I don't give a fuck. I would say, I don't watch TV or read the media. I haven't for a decade or more. Every now and then I put my spirit to do it, and then it ends up down a whole new rabbit hole. That's how I got. I don't know. It'll activate me, and I'll be activated on a whole new project, concept, way of thinking, whatever. It's neat. It motivates me, I guess you could say. When I found out what was going on with the migrants for the first time, I had no idea. Because I don't have none of that in my life. And I was like, what the fuck? When Biden was still in the office and I found out about the poison camp in Chicago and like that was poisonous land they were putting that tent on and what they were doing, I was like, I seen right through it immediately. And I was like, oh my God. I did all my artwork and I developed a control group, which is like everybody that gets left behind on the 3D, on the janky earth, like everybody else is ascended to the 5D. So they're all just screwing each other over. But they were grown as characters. I had to stop writing it because I really think it could be a weekly thing, and it's hilarious. You got like you got like the janky guy casting spells, and he's got Boofer, the hillbilly that works for him, and SA, like the little short Mexican guy. And I didn't want the gun thing to hinder the story, the whole plot. It'd be like violent or something. So I wanted to keep it all ages humor, because it'll be in like a syndicate or something. Would be a good job for me like that. Um, and it's important topics really because it's about control groups and us being controlled by different things. But to watch them control each other, it's funnier, how the mishaps and the low level vibrations and how many problems that you have anyway. Uh, but like, so he's got Boofer and SA, and all he needed to finish the spell, for his doodah he was doing, was Eyes of Newton and the Golden Locks of a Virgin or something like that. Golden Locks, it said in Virgin, and so like he texted Boofer or whatever. Well, he comes and shows up. He shows up with Isaac Newton. He shows up with Isaac Newton, and well, Boofer gets a text. He's like, oh, now he's really, that's not going to be an easy one. How am I supposed to get Isaac Newton? But he shows that, maybe nobody, that guy don't see it like that. Well, they get him back and he shows up with Isaac Newton and this blonde like hooker. And and he's like, what is this? And he's like, well, that's what you asked for. He's like, hi, I'm Isaac Newton, sir. And like the guy says, goddamn autocorrect. Isaac Newton. I think that's hilarious. I did that. That's me. That's my humor. But like, so he's like, Isaac Newton, and then the Isaac, one guy in the room says, well, I'm not gonna say nothing, but I don't think she's no virgin either, boss. And she goes, oh yeah, but he is. And she points at Isaac Newton, So she ends up using them both anyway. And then it popped out a Scientologist. His creation, his potion. He's like, damn it, not another Scientologist. That's humor at its finest. That's the humor tomorrow. I have a whole thing with them. There's a whole bunch of characters, You got the 8-year-old extortionist that extorts a child molester in it, and like any high-speed dad and lots of it. He thinks he's luring her in, and she jumps in. And by the end of the night, he's like Ubering around all her little girlfriends. He's bought them pink stripes in their hair, and then they had to have socks and shoes to match them or whatever. She's like, oh, do I need to tell her? Or are you going to get me some more data? My phone's broken. I need a new phone, She's back there extorting the fuck out of them like the kids can do nowadays. They are part of the control group too. Don't be disguised, Don't have blinders on. Anybody that knows anything about child rearing knows that that's true. And it's not the kid's fault, though, that they were raised like that, It never is. Right? We said that about the people getting beaten, hurt, and molested. Why wouldn't we say it about the kids that are getting fucking ruined, spoiled, or fucking let down? Or made into like something that God didn't make us into. God made us to have dirt and get dirty and be vegan. Actually, He said we could eat the meat, but He said not the blood, not all that other jinky shit. He didn't make us to want to kill it. We didn't have no need to do that then. There was no lack before that. No anger, fear, jealousy, none of that. So life was just nice. But I think it was important for our souls, before we had that power, it was important for our soul's remembrance to know why we don't want them things, and how they get there, and how sometimes they're wanted and sometimes they're not, and why we don't want them things. Because we know that they'll be mutilating the bodies of our children, and they'll be poisoning our food and water supplies and air supplies, and going all the way with it, and just like no shame, displaying their fucking shit at the fucking U.S. Olympics. Could you imagine? Can you even imagine if the Americans were never even taking part in something like that? As soon as it was seen, they would have walked out in 1954 or something. The government would have made them. You know what I mean? It's just so fucking weird and fucking fucked up going on. I don't know nothing about it, but I caught that on a half of a year catch, walking past the TV. Oh, I couldn't. I was like, I know it, all right. I already called that a long time ago, and shit like that, because they got to tell them themselves, and they're getting more and more out there. And that God's doing that on purpose. He's like literally with anybody that's any bit human makes that. Even if you don't know who he is and don't know, you know good right from wrong. Like anybody out there in the whole world, no matter what they are, I don't care. He does not care about your 9 to 5. He doesn't care if you bring your fucking trash cans up every Tuesday like a good boy, because you got kids tied up in your basement or some shit. Spare the rod, whatever, yeah, that's not what he meant, though. I think he kind of twisted them words a little bit. God was a clever man and a good content copywriter himself, but they didn't write. They don't write. It's all been language, They didn't have that. They communicated telepathically. They just had a knowing. You just have a knowing, you know. They're reading energy and shit. It's just natural. That's why the animals weren't scared of people and stuff, because they were never killed by them. They weren't a predator to them. Everything was in flow. So as long as there's the one little fracture left of the human creation, it's restorable through God. He gives us that. Even the people that are fuck ups, he don't care because he's all about, you know. It's not about that. It's not that you must obey. No, that's not it at all. It's that we got to get rid of this other guy that consumes every planet in the universe when it's allowed to, and that's just got to stop. There's a lot of people salty about that, you know. The gargantuans and the fucking stalemates. I don't know. It could cause lunar eclipse war or something like that. And the galactic doodah. And oh wow, this is way bigger than me. I see. But it is though. You know, they made light of all that shit, made it look like wacky tobacco shit, and that's the stuff like you gotta look at, because they tried to discredit it before it was. They can't stop the wake up. They can't stop the remembering. They don't know how, you know. They hate it, but they'll turn against each other. It's the way that God uses them to destroy themselves with that, because they don't know how these people know. How do they know? I don't know. We got them left them in a box. How do they possibly know that? Nobody knew that but us, you know? So they always think it has to be the other person, you know, and it destroys themselves. You don't ever have to lift a finger. You just sit there and you still continue to be innocent, you know, and they get found out and everybody gets shouted from the rooftops. You gotta have faith to do that. It looks like you're doing nothing, but you're doing a lot. Sometimes that's what God. Sometimes He'll tell you to run your ass off too. But He doesn't ever give us fear if we don't have it. That's not something natural to our creation or His design. He sees us not in fear, but instead with power, courage, love, and a sound mind, and offers us peace through faith and grace is an ultimate reward. You have grace and peace. You don't need no more than that. Once you're at that level, you don't need nothing else. Everything just flows, and you're content and you where you're at. It doesn't change anything around you sometimes, but you feel good. You truly feel good. That's all we care about anyway, isn't it? Raindrops. It's nice and warm out today. You notice I'm playing outside. It's not warm. My fingers feel a little cold, but it's okay for my guitar. Any colder, I broke guitars like that. Snap them right at the neck, man. It sucks. temperature changed quite a bit, I think, already. It wasn't cold at all, but after sitting out here for a minute, and now that the wetness is starting, misting, you can feel the temperature drop. I put my guitar out a little bit. This guitar stays in tune really good. All my guitars do. I don't like to keep them. I don't even like to give them away when they're like that. I usually just make them like that. But I got really lucky. The guitar should stay tuned. You should be able to tune it, play the shit out of it, and be in tune still. Really, it would be very just a little bit off. But usually when it's off with my guitars, it's because of a big temperature change. It's not so much for putting them on my motorcycle and doing all that, and taking a whole motorcycle ride with it. It'll come out of the case fine. But I can walk around the house with it and walk out on the porch or something and walk back or something, and that'll really do something. Open a window around the house or something where it's not real hot. It might be like 20 degrees cooler than it normally is or something. Because you're airing it out or cleaning. You know? That's when I'll notice I have to tune. I'll be like, oh, I didn't even notice it was like at that point where it was that off. Like, oh, that's how you break it. The slow and steady, like, you got to be able to hang with me, you know. So like, I kind of condition my shit. I use it, and over time, I think it builds resilience. You know. Anyway. Little B.S. Johnson had a star to do by his name, but unfortunately, he had a target that you go back since high school. We were dressed to impress in the principal's office. He was proudly defending a picture of an X-ray hand on his shirt, flipping the bird. And I had a fan, and he said to the back to suck it up. So that would have been okay, till the fan told him to blow me. That was another story. That day after he handed the principal his ass in his face. We both wore our shirts back to class that day. As I found the X-ray quite educational, you see. I've learned about joints and hands all over in history class. I learned about what it means. Stand your ground and don't take no shit from nobody. I want to make that a different song. Maybe that's how I'll split that song up in two. I got two songs here that I'm struggling with it. It's one song. It needs to be one song, and he ain't special in getting two. But he is like my buddy from school, so it's like my peer group. I could fit it in like that maybe because it came to me, so I want to do it. But like, I don't know, it's not maybe the right one. I'm so conflicted. Like I say, I feel like he's up in heaven, like puffing away, like, oh, maybe it should be a punk rock song, or no, let's try it like that again. You know, like a lady that don't know where she wants her furniture. That's the energy I feel with it. So it's like, okay, who the fuck is the wise guy? I didn't ever fucking agree to write your song. Everybody just figured I would, maybe, you know, like maybe I'll shock the shit out of them and not. Maybe you don't get no songs. You know, it's funny. You have a certain amount of like, it's not a betrayal, but like you feel away when your friend dies. You know, there's a little tiny part of you that's like that. Like, fuck you, why'd you have to go die? And now you woke up dead. What the fuck's going on? Rule number one was don't die. That's a fact. That's part of the song too. I gotta word it in right. Every now and then I can get the words right. I gotta write it down right, and it doesn't work. I end up writing a book. Like, that didn't do any good. I got 20 of them. I just gotta remember it right. But it's gotta be where I can remember it. If I can't remember it every time, I might as well just change the lyric because it's always gonna fuck up the song. That's the way I see it. Sometimes you can't. You gotta learn how to sing better. Because it totally turns into a different song the way you do you know. It could be like a punk rock song. Like, or something like that. I play it like that when I'm like upset or angry too, and I'm playing the song. Maybe if I'm mad that day, maybe at him, maybe not. Like, you know, or whoever song I'm playing like that. You know? Sometimes I finger pick it like I'm a Spanish flamenco guitar player. They're my songs. I could do that with them. That's the neat thing about it. There ain't no wrong way. The only wrong way is to just play the fucking thing wrong. Like, there ain't no wrong style of the way. I guess to play it with the wrong notes, which would make it a different song. That's like that would be a wrong way, maybe. I don't know. Or that be struggling through blocks where we keep fucking up